Salve, salve galera, bem-vindos ao canal Tio Joy, tudo bem com vocês? Pessoal, hoje eu tô aqui pra trazer, eu vou gravar aqui, né, esse mapa do Alan Wake. Lembrando que o Alan Wake vai ser lançado, o Alan Wake 2, essa semana, certo? Então, no Fortnite surgiu esse mapa, o mapa da Alan Wake, o Flashback, certo? Então você encontra aqui, né, se você procurar, pode procurar pelo nome, né, Alan Wake Flashback, que é o mapa em homenagem ao jogo, né, Alan Wake. Eu encontrei esse mapa lá no espaço, né, do próprio site deles, né, eles colocaram lá. Não é o mapa da Epic não, hein, olha, ele não tá listado aqui. Mas ele é um dos mapas que usam a nova Unreal, né? A Unreal Engine. Então, bora lá. Ele tá aparecendo aqui, ó, porque eu tinha marcado no site lá que eu queria experimentar ele, né? Ele apareceu lá. Mas aqui, ó, recomendados, ó. Já vai aparecer aqui o flashback. Se não aparecer, você procura Alan Wake. Então, eu não conheço esse mapa, pra falar bem a verdade, tá? Nunca joguei nesse mapa, então... é uma experiência nova, é um teste que eu vou estar fazendo com vocês aqui nesse mapa. Vou usar a Verônica, aliás, Verônica, não é Verônica, o nome dela é Vitória. Vou usar a Vitória, tá, para jogar. Aqui eu coloquei as skins todas pretas, né? Eu não sei quais são as armas que eles vão ofertar nesse mapa, mas eu gosto muito dessa skin preta aqui, fosca, né? Eu sou muito discreto com as minhas armas aqui no Fortnite, né? Então... bora lá, vamos conhecer essa experiência aí, Alan Wake Flashback. Flashback porque deve ter alguma relação com os primeiros jogos, né? Eu não sei se tem em português também, mas de qualquer forma a ideia é a gente dar uma conferida nesse mapa. Lembrando que é um mapa, ele é um mapa a princípio retrô, né? Por isso o nome Flashback. Esse wallpaper ele muda, tá, pessoal? Eu coloquei para alterar sempre o wallpaper, então o wallpaper ele sempre muda. Esse aí é o wallpaper de uma das temporadas, né? E aqui estamos nós. Olha, começou... Lembra um pouquinho ó, a pegada do jogo, né? Lanterna, naturalmente. Opa! A lanterna já era esperado, né?
In a horror story, the victim keeps asking why, but there can be no.
É uma pena que tá em inglês.
The unanswered mystery is what stays with us the longest, and it's what we'll remember in the end. My name is Alan Wake. I'm a writer.
Meu nome é Alan Wake, essa é minha história. 3 anos atrás, uma história de horror aconteceu. Aqui ele tá contando mais ou menos o que acontece. Como é que eu faço aqui? Apontei a luz ali e avançou. Essa lanterna no jogo tu pode usar como arma, né? Opa, são 3 episódios. O Alan Wake também usa arma de fogo, viu? Vamos avançar aqui. Aqui. Pelo que eu entendi, onde tem o símbolo verde pode largar a luz. Ou interagir, né? Ele é um escritor, né? E pelo visto, um famoso escritor, né? É que pro bem da verdade, eu joguei Alan Wake, mas eu nunca me aprofundei na história, né? Jogava como todo mundo joga, né? Pegava a arma e tentava sobreviver, né? Olha ele e a esposa dele.
I need to write something different. Something new, but nothing works. I can't take it.
Alan, you've been working on this for over 2 years. You need a break. I heard about this peaceful little town. It'll be the perfect place to clear your head.
Eu acho que o Alan Wake podia entrar no Fortnite, né? Como personagem, seria
So
interessante
Alice
também.
convinced me to visit Bright Falls, a small, quiet town in Washington. Just what I needed. First we stopped at the local diner to get our cabin key from the landlord.
Essa luz preta são os inimigos, né? Ó, isso aqui lembra muito o segundo Alan Wake. Vamos ver. Ó, tu concentra a luz, né? E quando tu faz isso, ele elimina essas fumaças aqui. Onde eu posso, né?
As soon as I stepped in the door, the waitress Rose recognized me.
Aqui ele
She
lançou
was
o
my
livro
biggest
dele,
fan.
ó.
Had all my books. After she made me promise her an autograph, I asked about the landlord. Rose said he must have gone to the restroom.
Ah, tem que coletar essas coisas aqui, né? Pá, essa vitrolinha aqui é top demais, hein? O jukebox. É, ali eu coletei um objeto. Pode ter muito mais escondido, né? Porque agora que eu sei que tem que coletar, não é só tu pegar e sair lembrando. Banheiro.
I checked the back of the diner. It was dark, foreboding. The kind of place that made your skin itch. That's when Barbara Jagger appeared. An older woman in a vintage funeral gown, like something out of a 1960s horror.
Coisa sinistra, né?
She said the landlord hadn't been able to make it and handed me the cabin key. She insisted she'd come by later to check on us.
Entregou uma chave pra ele com uma carta. Aqui, bom.
Alice and I drove through the majestic landscape to our cabin. The little wooden house stood alone on a tiny island near the shore of Cauldron Lake, in the bowl of an impressive caldera.
Ponte. Bridge. Ah, ela vai entrar na água. Não, não posso. Não posso. Boa. Atingir ali. Bacana. Show de bola.
It's gorgeous, Alan.
It's something, all right.
Are you sure you read the directions right? It's nothing like in the brochure. It said near the lake, not on it.
It was a beautiful place. I told myself I could rest here, sleep here, forget about my work. I thought we could be happy here.
Alan! I'm upstairs. I have a surprise for you. Surprise!
Alice, what is this?
I guess I have a small confession to make. I thought maybe you could write here that a change of
Damn
scenery
it,
would
Alice,
get you
you-
past.
Everyone keeps...
Hey, just hear me out. There's a local doctor, Dr. Hartman. I read a book of his. He has a private clinic here. He
So
specializes
now
in
you want to get me
artists.
committed?
No, it's not like that. That's not... Alan? Alan?
Don't. Just don't. I don't want to hear it.
Eita.
Oh no.
Caiu na água.
When I came to, I was behind the wheel of a crash car on a forest road. I felt like I had woken up from one nightmare only to find myself in another. I remember diving in after Alice. So how was I here?
Nossa, ficou torto, olha que da hora. O chão.
The loose sheets of paper were pages from a manuscript entitled Departure. That was the name I'd planned to use for the next novel I'd never gotten started. I was named the author. I hadn't written it. I couldn't remember writing it.
Isso aí que ele pegou no jogo é muito comum.
Departure by Alan Wake.
Você pegar essas páginas aqui, né? Tem que juntar as páginas, né? Esse aqui é o barato do jogo. Pra quem jogou. Opa! Nossa, uma plataforma ali. Outra página.
The Taken stood before me. It was impossible to focus on it, as if it stood in a blind spot caused by a brain tumor and eye disease. I was terrified. I squeezed the flashlight like my life depended on it, willing it to stop coming any closer. Suddenly something gave, and the light seemed to shine brighter. I found a page of writing, but it made no sense. A fragment of some demented horror story.
Opa! Mas eu tenho que... Caraca! Tenho que pular no barco. Depois ali em cima. Nossa, esse pulo! Tô mal acostumado com a gravidade do Fortnite.
At first, I kept finding the pages as if by accident. The book I couldn't remember was either a terrible and true prophecy or an act of creation that had rewritten the world. I began to hunt the pages feverishly, for they held the answer to the mystery. I realized that the shadowy figure was the character from the page I just found, The Taken. A man taken over by a creature of supernatural darkness called the Dark Presence.
Caraca, tá com machadão. Faz falta, hein? Arma de fogo, hein? Só essa lanterna não dá, né? Car. Tá bom. Pega. Caramba. Fala sério.
All right. I'll keep writing. Outside there's only darkness. Outside the cabin, outside the story, there's only darkness. I can feel her presence in the dark. Just now, I could smell her perfume in the room. I'll reach her, I'll fix it up. I'll bring her back. The story will come true. If I stop, she's lost.
I would come to realize the lake does something to works of art created here. It lifts the story from the page and gives it form. Turns fiction into terrible truth.
Pedrão.
The manuscript was becoming real. I tried to hold on to Alice, but her form melted away. I was losing control. Dr. Hartman stood in her place. I wanted to hit him, but my arms were jelly. He smiled. It was a reassuring smile, and I hated him for it. You're a patient in my clinic. Have been for a while now.
Alan.
Hartman. I fell. What? No, you. I found myself stuck in Cauldron Lake Lodge, Dr. Hartman's clinic. He tried to convince me I was a patient of his, that I had imagined everything. I knew he was lying. Soon enough, his true colors would be revealed.
It's okay, Alan. Just let go.
The pages I'd been carrying with me were gone. I needed them back. They were the key to finding Alice, to understanding this mystery.
É, tem que descer, só que tem uns colecionáveis, né? Ver se tem algum aqui em cima que dá pra pegar. Só peguei um até agora. Ó, aqui tem uma folha.
Dark presence followed the choreography laid out to it in the manuscript, growing stronger and stronger, moving like a storm from one scene of destruction to the next. When the story reached the end it longed for, it would finally be free.
Eu tô em silêncio aqui enquanto ele fala, porque o próprio YouTube traduz, né? Tu pode colocar a tradução. E eu vou tentar também traduzir pelo menos essas cartas aí, né? E colocar já em português para vocês. E aí, só que os diálogos em geral eu não consigo porque é uma fonte estranha, né?
I broke into Hartman's office to learn the truth. The manuscript pages were on his desk, the ones I had found and more. I confronted him, furious. He admitted he had been lying and tried to cut a deal with me. He was still trying to manipulate me, to use my writing for his own ends and to make the dark presence stronger in doing so.
Bora lá. Caramba! Tu fecha a porta na tua cara.
I dreamt of the night Alice went missing. Her screams rang in the stillness of the night. I saw myself run toward the cabin, flashlight in my hand. I followed my past self. I was an out-of-body observer, a time traveler in a crazy dream. This was the beginning. The night Alice had disappeared. The mystery of what had happened during the missing week was about to reveal itself.
Eita! Ficou em primeira pessoa?
Alice! Alice!
In a dream, I
Ó,
found myself
aqui
back
ficou
at the cabin.
em
Just
primeira
like the
pessoa o
manuscript
jogo.
described. It felt like I was reliving a suppressed memory, a waking nightmare. This was my chance to find out what had happened to Alice. I remembered it all now. In the dark, I'd written for days, a week, almost a complete manuscript of a novel entitled Departure. Jagger had been my editor, whispering in my ear, making sure that the unfolding story would make her more and more powerful. I thought I was saving Alice. Yes. All right. I'll fix it. I'll bring her back. Under the influence of the dark presence, I'd written a horror story. And now my own words were tearing my world apart. It was using my story to grow stronger, to spread its darkness. But somehow some part of me had been aware enough to write my own escape into the story. A way back to Cauldron Lake, to Alice.
Logs. Pula pra cá primeiro. Opa, aqui ó. Peguei só duas garrafas de café. Quero café! Boa! Aí deu bom.
The story I had written in the cabin had come true. Touched by the dark presence, I had written a horror story, but the end was still missing. The story was incomplete, and the last unfinished page of the manuscript still sat in the typewriter in the cabin study. If I could get back there, if I could read the page, then I could write my own ending to this story and save Alice.
Falta uma parte só. É agora, cambada. Tinha que ter trocação de bala, né? Eu acho que não vai ter.
Jagger was waiting for me, but I wasn't afraid. I had light on my side. I was ready. I fought Jagger with the light, shattered the darkness inside her. She was gone. But this was a horror story, and the ending had not yet been written.
Nossa, enfiou a lanterna na mulher.
There'd be a price to pay.
Esse é o preço que eu paguei. Pois é, tá aí. Uma experiência Fortnite aí com Alan Wake, bem diferente, né? Bem longa, por sinal. Então, como eu disse pra vocês, o que eu vou fazer? Eu vou colocar a tradução de alguns pontos. Tá viva.
There's light and there's darkness, cause and effect. There's guilt and there's atonement. But the scales always need to balance. Everything has a price. Ellen! Alice was safe, but the balance had to be kept. I'd taken her place, a small price to pay. Now I was trapped here, in the dark place, outside reality.
Tentar pegar mais uma garrafa de café, né? Quero café! Garrafa térmica. Não tem essa sala aqui.
If I wanted to escape, I would have to start writing again. A new story. A sequel to Departure. My name is Alan Wake. I'm a writer.
Última parte.
By Alan Wake.
Top. Fechou. Temos epílogo. Acho que é isso, né? Aí aqui você vai...
Presence is out there. It's hunting me. Its spies are always watching. It's trying to catch me. I think it did more than once. It's stealing from me. Stealing my identity. It wants to be me. Replace me. Twisted version of me. Scratch. Mr. Scratch. It's slithering into the story. Once it's in the story, I have to use it to keep the story true. It got in. I have to make the story darker now. But that gives it power. That's bad. I don't want that. But I have no choice. It's an arms race. All right, now keep it together. Damn it. I'll be the first one to cross the finish line.
Esse aqui é o trailer do próximo jogo, né? Alan Wake 2, tem esse trecho aí. Pô, muito legal, gostei, né? Pessoal, obrigado aí. Quem tava assistiu até o final. Opa, eu não sei, isso aqui eu acho que é outra coisa, tá? Não tem a ver com o que eu fiz ali. Pessoal, muito obrigado pela sua audiência. Fico por aqui, um forte abraço, até a próxima e... Tchau, tchau. Valeu. Fui.